Welcome in, everyone, to Football Friday here on SBR Sports. This is the Right Side of Campus. I'm your host, the big man on campus, here with my co-host, Donnie Wright. So, Donnie, it's Friday, September 22nd, 2017. Another week of football, college football week 4, NFL week 3. Welcome in, Donnie. How you doing tonight?
Yeah, doing good. Hey, finally had a interesting game last night on Thursday Night Football. Home team gets the cover. I don't know if they deserved it, but you know, and the NFL is a wild sport there. Who'd have thought both of those teams would combine for 80 points, both technically struggling franchises. But hey, we'll see how it goes down the stretch. Some exciting football. It's going to take place Saturday and Sunday. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, we'll get into the game and go through everything. It was an interesting one for sure. I actually had a lot of people watching, surprisingly. I don't think, coming into the game, look, I thought it'd be a low-scoring game. I can't believe it. But first quarter, it's 14-7. You had to think you're on, I don't think anyone thought it'd be 41-39, but shootout was in order, I guess, after the first quarter. But, yeah, look, I had the Rams -3. It was kind of a tough beat, I thought. But what are you going to do? Those happen in the NFL. And, after we had, Donnie, you and I, such a good week last week, that it's hard to get mad. I mean, I did have 2 in the Jimmy the Bag contest, so I guess I'll take the push there. But on my book, I lost. But what are you going to do, I guess, right? But we'll get into it. Welcome into everyone out there. If you're out there, please hit the like button. Let us know you're here. Say hello. Subscribe. Comment. Check out all the videos here at SBR. A lot of great content being put out. A lot, Donnie, of college football videos and NFL stuff. So be smart and go over and check that stuff out. SBR Odds for all your odds needs. Donnie, where do we want to start today? What do you want to hit first?
Yeah, I guess last night. I mean, I put a couple videos out on SBR there, taking the points on Thursday night. It was 2.5 when I released the video, so it ended up a 2-point game. I was happy with the winner last night, and I'm going to lean my money line strategy went 0-2 to start the season so far, but I do bet the same amount on the side. So first week I actually went 0-2 with Cincinnati -5, I believe the line was, and money line. Last night couldn't get the money line, but got the Thursday night winner with the cover, getting 3 points on when I bet it on Thursday. But again, 2.5 is what I gave it out on SBR. So it's a nice win to start the season. Again, there's nothing to Thursday Night Football for me. All I do is take the home team every time. It's a decided advantage. We'll see where we end up at the end of the year on that one.
Yeah, Donnie, I don't know if the chat's broken or something. I don't know what's up with this thing.
People hung over from last night.
Yeah, not people. It's weird. Usually there's like people in here, people are talking, but we'll get into it nonetheless. Donnie, we'll talk about last night. Let's do it. 41-39 was the final. And look, I mean, you could agree. I mean, that's a bad beat if you had the Rams last night. I mean, they're up. They fumble the football on a kickoff. They're up, 8 at that point. They fumble the kickoff. They get it. 49ers to get out and score. They miss the 2-point conversion. So down 2. And then they do the onside kick and get it. If they get the onside kick there, we're in a position probably, I would think, to cover, because there was a lot of time stuff. There was still like 2 minutes left or more. They would have had to have called their timeouts, and I think we would have probably been in a position where we would have had to kick a field goal probably, I would imagine. But overall—
No, you know what the difference was, that, Jeff? Because the 49ers are a brain-dead organization, and Kyle Shanahan was but Jeff, it's already starting this year, and I'd like to get on a rant with football head coaches. Why do they have no idea about time status, when they use timeouts, and what they're doing? It's 4th down on the goal line. If you don't get it on 4th down, you want to pin them at the 1-yard line. You have 3 timeouts. They burn a timeout there. They burn another timeout before the 2-point conversion. So now you're down to 1 timeout. They get that luck box onside kick last night, which bailed them out, because if the Rams would have got the football, all they would have to do is run the ball 3 times, get 1 first down, and the game was over right there. Instead of having a full plethora of 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. Why do coaches that make $5, $6, and $7 million a year can't get the simplest math straight at the end of a ball game, when to use timeouts and when not to use timeouts? It's absolutely ludicrous, Jeff.
No, I hear you. That's been a problem for a lot of coaches. I mean, Andy Reid had that problem for years. But overall, you look at Goff. I mean, another very good performance from a Jared Goff. 22 for 28, almost 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Yeah. He wasn't sacked either. Very nice game for Goff. Goff played his ass off. Their offense played
Yeah.
very well. I mean, Gurley had 100+ yards, 200-yard receivers, really everything you want from your offense. I mean, they were cruising last night. Defense just couldn't get any stops. Pierre Garçon had a big night, and yeah, I got to tell you, I mean, I was a little surprised last night by how poor the Rams were defensively. I didn't think San Francisco had it in them to score like that, but overall they did enough to hang in the game. And the backbreaker was the fumble and the kickoff. I mean, you don't fumble there. I mean, you couldn't be stopped on offense. I mean, who the hell knows what happens there? They don't do that. I think we end up covering the 3. But overall, it wasn't a game that I think I had much of a read on. I mean, I thought the 3 was the right side, got backdoored, and the under was clearly over. I think
if they don't fumble the kickoff return. If you take back one of those plays, the fumble and the kick return, Jeff, or if you just take back the onside kick at the end of the football game, Rams cover that really easily. And how about how fun I don't want to say how fun, because there's people that lost money on it. There's people that won money. But how about Gurley busting it wide open on 3rd down to end the game? And you're saying, if he, how many times have you seen that where a meaningless run from like 50 yards out, defense like, he got the first down, the game's over anyway, just let him walk in, but tackled. But, I mean, just have a lump in your throat right down to the buzzer again, which tends to happen a lot.
Yeah, no, you're totally right, and now you're right there. I mean, if he fumbles, I mean, I forget who it was. They picked up and went into the end zone. For a minute, I thought, oh my God, we covered. But then I'm like,
the only thing with that, Jeff, is when you fumble in the 4th quarter, you had the guy who fumbles the ball, regardless of team, he has to actually recover it in order to advance it. So it would have been down right there, even though the Rams did get the football.
What do you mean you can't advance a fumble recovery? Since when?
Yeah, like it dates all the way back to a Raiders game back in like the 70s where they call it the Holy Roller, where the Raiders were about to get sacked and they just rolled the ball forward and ended up scoring a touchdown when the game should have been over. So they put in a rule in effect that in the 4th quarter, I don't know if it's 5 minutes or 2 minutes, but at least guaranteed under 2 minutes, if you fumble the football forward in the 4th quarter, you have to recover your own fumble as a player. If your team gets it, you actually still get to keep the ball, obviously, but you don't get the yards after it.
I'll tell you what, I think there are some rules in the NFL that are just brutal. I mean, they're bad, very bad.
How about the offensive pass interference they called at the end of the game on the Niners? That was a brutal call, man.
It was a penalty. He shoved him out.
What was the penalty? He didn't even move his arm.
Yeah, well, I just saw something different.
That was at the end of the game. You can't call that play at the end of the game.
I thought it was a penalty. No, but I'm looking more along the lines of pass interference. 40 yards down the field, and the ball gets placed at the spot of the foul. I mean, that is way behind. I mean, college, it should be college, 15 yards. That's it.
College has it right. You're right. They do. College has it right.
It's stupid. I also think, I've made it clear the longer extra point sucks also, but we won't get into that discussion. But yeah, overall, it was a great game. I mean, a lot of yards, a lot of weird plays. I mean, you look at over 800 yards in the game, Donnie. Actually,
it was actually fun to watch, wasn't it? An NFL game that was actually entertaining to watch all the way through. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I spent a lot of the time. I watched, probably half of the South Florida Temple game. That game was over, and then I watched, the football game here. Yeah, it was great. I mean, finally a good Thursday night game. Which look for bettors. I mean, what are you going to do? Books, I believe, cashed. I would think they cashed pretty heavily on this game. Rams didn't cover, and the people that took the money line here for San Francisco.
Yep, good call, Jeff. Yep.
You look last night, Temple loses and gets crushed. Very bad time now in Temple football. I didn't think it'd be this bad. I thought they would have struggles, with the offense and with just a new system and new quarterbacks and a run game that still has decent players, but I didn't think it'd be this bad. I mean, they just cannot get the running game going, Donnie. I mean, you look at last night, 33 carries. They didn't have a rushing yard, -4 yards rushing. Now, keep in mind, there were a lot of sacks and stuff in this game, but I mean, 89 passing yards for both.
You're right. Yep.
And overall in the game, they had 85 yards of passing and running combined. Total yards, 85. 408 for South Florida. I mean, really just a brutal start to the year for this team. I mean, like I said, I thought they'd struggle, but I didn't think it'd be this bad. 6 turnovers last night. Defensively, they got worked all night. South Florida's back, though, Donnie. Look out for this team. The one thing I will say, they have major mental problems, Donnie, this team. They commit way too many penalties, too many personal fouls, too many stupid penalties, too many stupid decisions. And that has been a problem that has plagued Charlie Strong his entire career.
Yeah, no, I mean, you lost a really good football coach who goes up to Oregon, but the foundation is still in place. And thank good. I mean, hey, if you're going to take over for a football team, what a better quarterback to have, especially in a non-Power 5 league than Quentin Flowers out there. It's a really good defense. They're athletic. Obviously, you get a lot of those South Florida recruits, but it was just dismaying to watch Temple because, Jeff, we've watched them over the past couple of years where fundamental foundation football, line up, I'm going to block you, I'm going to have a fullback, I'm going to run it down your throat. We're going to throw some play action pass, and we're going to play stingy defense. It's really weird. Like you take the regime out, and that rule's now gone. But does it just get that bad where you say, hey, Philip Walker is gone. Now we can't even compete. It's bad. It's really. I don't know what to expect out of Temple. I mean, it was nice having that run, and you figured they would at least have a year layover where that foundation would still be in place where you play good football. Now, granted, USF's a pretty good football team. They got pounded by Notre Dame. They won their 2 other games, so they'll have a lot of easier games coming up on the schedule where you can see where they're technically at. But just disheartening against 2 good football teams, Notre Dame and USF. They weren't even competitive.
I think it was 2005 when Bobby Wallace was there, Donnie. They didn't win a game that year. And, that decline where it kind of ended and then Al Golden came in. I mean, this team looks really bad. I mean, they're behind the 8 ball because they don't have a stadium. They don't really have their practice facilities literally in the middle of North Philadelphia. They don't have, a ton of facilities really. And it's going to suck. I mean, it's a shame because, Al Golden came in and then Bruce Arians, Al Golden, that kind of group. And, and then Matt Rule, and now you have this era and, it's a struggle. It's a shame. Temple, we had a good couple years, good run with this team, but it's all basketball now going forward, Donnie.
Yeah.
So we'll be excited for that. By the way, back to the Rams for a second. If they play like that offensively, they're going to win this division, Donnie. You know that.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to win the division. I mean, I'm a little bit. I like the way their offense looked, though. I can't complain. The one key, college, if you can't somehow they have to keep Gurley healthy. I don't know if you can feed him the ball that much and throw to him that much. He's an exciting football player, but you got to scale back a little bit on him because he is the key to that offense. He's great out of the backfield, keeps the chains moving, just a hammer up front. I shouldn't say I'm worried about it. 2 concussions last night, kind of interesting for the wide receivers for the Rams, but they do have that nice little, bye week and a half, or a half of a bye week, so they should be ready to go for their next football game. And who's up on deck for them, Jeff? Rams.
The LA Rams, I'm not sure. Let me look here. We got the we get the Cowboys October 1st in Dallas. So tough game there coming up after the bye. So Dallas Cowboys.
Okay. Yeah. The nice part about that is Dallas is going to have the short week when you have the extra bye. So you actually have a little bit of an advantage for the Rams. That's nice.
Sure. You Domporn Ratanafakti. Temple suck. Yeah, well, they do right now. You're not wrong there. And by the way, Temple last night quarterbacks 8 for 26. That's 31% completion. So,
we're back. Jeff, you watch bad college football and you watch the quarterbacks and you say, how the hell did these guys get a Division I scholarship? Sometimes you can see bad quarterbacks in college, but you can see the athletic ability and the good arm and the passing. I look at those two and I'm just like, it's baffling.
And you know what? Here's the crazy thing about this that no one would believe. They have a really good running back in Armstead, and they have I think the best receivers in the conference overall. And it just goes to show you.
A great fullback.
Right, Charga, yeah. They're just not very good, the quarterbacks. Nutiel and Marchie and those, they're just not any good. It might be time to head back to the social club. They're just not any good. But guys, here's what we're going to do today. It's an open show. Fridays usually like that here on a Football Friday. It's all football all the time. If you have a question on a game, feel free to ask it. We'll hit them all. I'll try to hit them all. Again, NFL, we went over yesterday. We will talk about anything, though. I know there's so many college games and there's so much going on. So, again, it's really up to you today what you want to talk about. We'll go through any game. Feel free, though, if you give us a game, try to give us the sequence number. That way we can look it up. Matthew Holt's in here. Hey, Matt, welcome in. Do want to ask Matt a question if we could. I'm sure there's something off his top of his head. I know Donnie, Sam Bradford, my sources tell me he will not play, but I know there's
I don't know. I saw the latest reports from yesterday. It could be interesting.
Well, again, that's possible, but keep in mind this guy has had knee injuries and stuff. I'd like to ask Matt what the line is, and I know there's some lines out. What's the line when Bradford plays, and what's the line if he doesn't play? And again, how much does that go into getting the line? And I'm sure, Donnie, I guess you're interviewing him today, so maybe you can ask him that if he doesn't get to that. But
yeah, we'll have and the good part about that, because we do the show obviously 12:30 Eastern time. By the time the game's tonight, this is the last real practice of the week for the NFL teams. You'll know by the end of the day a much better feeling if Sam Bradford's going to play. Yesterday, the reports were when the reporters are allowed in, typically only for like 10 to 15 minutes of practice, the very opening. They can't, look at the game plan and stuff. But they said Bradford was moving around okay. But again, when you have a knee injury and you're week to week, Jeff, and you put him in the game, he's not exactly a scrambler. So if you get down on him, one little tweak of that knee, and he's out, after play 4 or 5, that's what the tough part is. Because if you're betting this football game and you're betting on Minnesota, you're saying right now, I'm expecting Bradford to play and play well. And that's not a given.
We sent out Minnesota -3, even if Bradford plays, and Tampa -1.5 if he does not play. I'll tell you what, they have Minnesota -1.5 right now. You're putting a lot. Wow, that's interesting. Donnie, Case Keenum, I think he's.
I'm telling you right now, though, if I don't care what happens, if Minnesota opens up as a dog, I will be on them automatically in this football game. Automatically.
Yeah, I own Case Keenum's that bad, dude. I mean, I like Tampa Bay regardless, and I've told you that. So for me, so you would be on. You're not kidding. You'd be on Minnesota with Case Keenum.
If Minnesota at any point is a favorite on Sunday, or excuse me, is a dog on Sunday, I will give that out as a premium play, sight unseen.
Wow. Yeah, I think
Minnesota's tough at home. The whole advantage there coming. And again, a lot of people see what Case Keenum did last week. He's probably taken a lot of the snaps this week, got his game under his belt. And it's not the easiest environment, Jeff, to go into Pittsburgh and win a football game against that team. He's going to come home, have the home crowd, a really good defense behind him. So I will take the points. If it is opening at any point on Sunday again, +1, +1.5, +2, whatever it is, I will be on Minnesota sight unseen on that one.
Interesting. Will Wake beat App State?
Yes.
Well, it's the first game on the card. 309, 310. This is an interesting game because App State hasn't played well this year. I mean, they didn't play week 1 well against Georgia. They've struggled, and Satterfield needs to get it figured out. But they're at home here. They're facing a team in Wake who is kind of a big brother in a way. They're in the ACC. App State's kind of just hanging in the Sun Belt. But Donna, we know App State's kind of a dangerous team. Good quarterback, good run game, a good defense. I think at home they get a little retribution here and hang in this football game. I want to say they can, and I will say this. I still think they'll win the Sun Belt. I think this is their last straw to really kind of do something special this year. I mean, they didn't look good in the first couple weeks here. I'm one to think they can hang in this game. Wake's a good football team, but am I wanting to lay 5 on the road and Boone? Not really.
By the way, Jeff, I hate to chime in here, but I just got the latest injury blink that came through. Sam Bradford now downgraded to doubtful. So looks like he is going to play.
I mean, move. Move on the back. Move on Bucks right now. Oh, man, on it. Let's see what my local has, because I'm sure the local has some ridiculous. They probably don't even have the lineup.
I bet you they don't even have the lineup. There's no way a local has the lineup on that one. No way.
They do.
They do. How about that?
Bucks +2.5.
You might be able to middle that too.
I'm rocking.
Great about live. We're all checking. It's funny that we always lean on the local, Jeff, because they typically have the screwy lines and don't catch up as fast.
Yeah, I just bet Bucks +2.5 on my local. Boom.
Let me see what we got here.
That's amazing.
You might be able to get a nice middle there, man.
Get that CLV, baby. Get that CLV. I love it. That's why local sometimes, you know what?
Yeah, my local does not have that game up, Jeff.
Wow.
So, yeah, see, that's why locals are good. Yeah, you check around, you might be able to get something in there.
How about that, Donnie, right there? 2.5 on the Bucks with Case Keenum. Lock it up.
I do not have. My local is my local is actually not sleeping on the job. Yours must be taking the day off so far.
Yeah, my other local doesn't have it. So
I'm surprised they have it. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
How about that?
Mhm.
Let's go here.
Jeff, hold on.
Georgia
Wake
beat
App State
Miss.
there. Just getting back to that one. If you want to take an angle on
Yeah.
that, App State is a great environment. If you've never watched a football game at App State, they take their football serious. They're going to sell that place out. It's going to be loud. It's crazy. They're going to get up for that one. The one interesting angle, I mean, 81% I have right now, Jeff, on Wake Forest. Is Wake Forest overall the better team? Sure. Tougher environment. The one thing I look at for Wake here is I like the way they open the season, but also like we went over on the roundtable, how hard that Wake schedule is going to get over the next 5 to 6 weeks. Is it one of those games, Jeff, that you look for? Because you can use it both ways here. Say Appalachian State, they're excited. They want to take down a Power 5 conference team. Or do you look at it from Wake saying, look, man, we need this win if we want to go to a bowl game and be serious. Let's take care of business, and then we'll worry about the ACC after that. How do you use that as an advantage, right?
I mean, it's definitely your goal is to say, let's take care of business here. But if you're Dave Clawson, this is a tough spot. I mean, you're kind of going to go on the road to a tough atmosphere. You got Florida State and Clemson on deck. You got some tough games on deck. It's tough. I mean, as a coach, you want to be able to say you can kind of put that out of sight, out of mind. But for some reason, I think it's a tough. This is a big test for Wake. I think if they're in and they get the job done here, I think they're kind of a for real football team. I mean, they're going to be a sneaky side in the ACC this year. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, I don't think you can even look back to last year, Jeff. Similar type of situation, but a much better team. Miami went to the Rock and put a nice beating on Appalachian State. A little bit different here with Wake Forest coming in. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, sure. Totally.
Yeah. And I think that line was, I actually think App State was a little bit better last year, but Jeff, that line was similarly low. I don't think Miami was laying any more than like 4 to 5 points in that football game, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and look, I think the markets for the most part are down on Appalachian State, high on Wake Forest. I mean, this is a good spot to back App State. They're off of a poor outing against Texas State on the road, and then that game against Georgia that they struggled in. But I don't think struggling against Georgia is that. I don't.
No,
I'm not that
bigger, physical, faster. Yeah.
I think this is a close football game. I think it comes down to the wire, but we'll see how that goes. We're still at Minnesota 1.5. All right. Well, I have to play with
I think the books are going to be slow on that one. That's going to be an interesting line when it opens up, because even, Jeff, when we were seeing it like across the board, obviously we know Bet Online gets them out there fast, and they're still hanging at -2, and Chris is hanging at -2. But I bet you probably can't even fire a wager in on that for at least another hour and a half until they get some other word back. I even see actually 5 dimes opening up, which looks like it's double juice -1, but I don't know how stale those lines technically are at this point.
Maryland -4, total 61. USF Maryland. Someone asking about that. Kasim Hill going for Maryland in this game. The young 17-year-old freshman. How about that? Kid coming out of the depths of high school to play football. Yeah, I was 17 when I graduated high school. So this is kind of, I was this age when I went to, if I would have went to college. But yeah, this is an interesting spot. I mean, Maryland's off of a little bye. They didn't play last week due to a bye, and UCF hasn't played since the first game of the season, Donnie. So I think they're going to be ready to go. I read an article about UCF that their program is near Armageddon after this couple weeks off. I mean, really losing a ton of money. Not good. And I think they're really ready to get back to football here. But you got to go on the road to College
What
Park.
are they losing money for? What, just home gate or something?
From what I understand, that it was huge them losing those games, according to the university. But I guess they get a pretty good crowd. I don't know. But they're going to Maryland, College Park. Durkin's done some good things there, but I don't know that I trust the rookie. I don't know that I trust the freshman here. I know Ryan that comes on the show. He mentioned he liked Maryland to me at home here.
Heavy public side too, Jeff.
I want to go over. That's kind of my shot here. 60.5 looks a little low. I think this is kind of a shootout. I don't think either defense is going to get many stops. 2 dual threat quarterbacks here. Mackenzie Milton and that.
Yeah, Jeff, how about on that? Let's take a look at that total. It opened up at 67 at Pinnacle, down to 61. Why would you think this game is a lower scoring game than not? Is it just maybe Central Florida is rusty? Because we know Central Florida wants to go fast, and you know Maryland, even going against good competition, can put up some points. It's really interesting that that's around 61 at this point.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the point. They're maybe concerned about rust, and then the freshman, maybe he has a little bit of maybe he's a little all over the place with the ball. I don't know. I mean, but overall, these teams are pretty fast in pace of play. Maryland definitely likes to run plays. So does USF or UCF. I would look over. I don't really get why this line would go down. But yeah, that's where I would look at it. Maryland does not have a good D. I don't agree with that.
No, yeah, so which is it? I mean, DJ Durkin's a good football coach, but their offense is showing more than their defense right now.
Sure. But yeah, as far as that game, I'd look over. That's about it. Syracuse plus 21. What do you think? With Geis in now, I'm not interested in Syracuse.
Yeah, what is that about, Jeff? I thought that was an error again. All I'm seeing is all last week head coaches or throughout this week. Yeah, he's not playing. We already shut him down. Then I get an alert that says he's probable, which I thought was an actual error. So that's correct. Geis is back in the game here.
Yes. I think that's Ed Orgeron screwing around with people.
Why is he screwing around with Syracuse? It's not like you're going playing Alabama. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, but I mean, the truth of the matter is right now, they're not playing well, LSU. They had a tough game last week. They're off a loss, and that's what I kind of like here. They're off a loss at home against a team that really can't stop anybody. But this is a lot of points for a team in Syracuse who seems like they always will hang around in games like this. I want to say Dino Babers can hang in this game for some reason. I think if you can get over 21.5, if you can get over 21, I would probably be more inclined to take Syracuse, but I don't know. I'm not comfortable. This is kind of like Michigan for me. I'm not really comfortable laying points with LSU. I'm just not. I don't really like their quarterback Etling, and how healthy is Geis, is the question. But the talent discrepancy here is clearly much better on LSU. But if you're getting LSU or Syracuse above 21, I would go that way.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting game on there.
Will Kentucky beat the streak? I think if they're going to do it, it'd be this year. This is probably the weakest Florida team we've seen in some time. Defense is not up to top 15 standards. They have a ton of people out. And Kentucky's kind of feeling themselves a little bit. They're played well. They haven't really beaten anyone other than South Carolina. But remember,
By the way, Jeff, that South Carolina game they played, Deebo Samuel, how early in the football game did he get knocked out in that one?
Pretty early, I believe by halftime.
Yeah, so he didn't even get a chance to be a factor in that one.
Right.
I think a lot of people look and just say, "Oh man, they beat South Carolina by 10," but you really have to look into it. I mean, Jeff, you've watched South Carolina over the past couple of years. They're not a great football program under what they used to be at Sperry for a couple of years, and we've watched Jeff. He is their offense, Deebo Samuel. Like he opens everything up for them, right?
He had the most touchdowns when he went out in football. Most in the SEC. I think second in football, most in the SEC. He returned 2 kicks in 2 straight games for them. Mm-hmm. He is that offense. And Jake Bentley, you could tell, really had problems with him not in the lineup. They're a different team without Deebo Samuel. So, and look, I will point out against last week they played who did Kentucky play last week? I'm trying to remember.
South
Carolina, yeah. They always play them tough under Mark Stoops. So, I don't put a lot of stock into that. As far as will they beat the streak? Yeah, I think this is a good spot to do it in. But me thinking and them doing is 2 other things. But yeah, I could see them doing it here. I won't be betting it though. Matt Holt, we just flipped Tampa Bay to -1. There you go.
Yeah.
How about that for CLV? I get plus 2.5. On the Bucks. How about that?
Can we get Jeff? Can I get it to 3? Can we get that game to 3? Can we get the public to push it through the door and give me Minnesota 3 on Sunday?
Yeah, because people hate Keenum. I don't know.
This is why I love it.
Yeah, Donnie's just overthinking this. Keenum stinks. Sorry, dude.
I'm telling. I can't.
What was your excuse last week? Because I don't think anyone was out defensive for Minnesota last week, and they couldn't stop anyone. So
I would have leaned towards getting double digits in that football game.
But is it because
wasn't great in that football game by any stretch? Yeah, it's a good spot for them to be in. Keenum, 1 game under his belt, and again, you didn't lose like the Colts last week. So you come back home where they're really tough. It's a dome. But again, it's a team from South Florida, Jeff, that's used to playing on grass outside. They're going to come into a loud dome environment. Again, they played well last week. It was the Bears, which is good because public perception is a lot of reality to me in gambling because last week you say, oh my God, like Tampa was unbelievable in that football game. Yeah, but if you took a look at it as a whole, Chicago moved the football up and down the field. Glennon threw for over 300 yards. And again, I'm not saying it's a great game. They're going to roll. All I do, Jeff, you know me by now. I like to build a contrarian side to say, you know what? I think there might be value in this game. So when you dig in, I try to look at all aspects of it. Again, I haven't bet it yet, and I don't know where that line's going to end up. But if it is positive, I'm probably going to be on them.
Tampa Bay up to 2 now in CG technology. Whoa. Donnie, you would agree, though. That's sharp by me to get plus 2.5.
I told you it was. I went right on it as well. I was going to take it also because there's a lot. Hey, look, if you can get a middle from 2.5 to 3, it's a no-brainer just firing it away on it. It's free money. If it
Yeah,
loses,
and
you juice out. Yeah.
and let's remember, it's only Friday. So on my book,
Yes, correct.
the book's going to put out Tampa Bay. They're going to reshoot that line out at like 2 or 3.
Yes.
I'm going to have 5.
Matt, come on, Matt. Here's what I need from Matt Holt to do right now. Log into the codes, please.
Shit, that might go up to 6.
Yes, put it at 3.5, Matt. Right now, just for me. I'll go and nail it and come right back out.
Yeah, I agree. Big man, I know you're from football, and Natalie and Alex. Is there a sport easier to bet on? Well, for me, I like them all the same. I don't know that they're easier. College football and college basketball seem to come natural for me, but I wouldn't say they're easier or not. It's just all about how much time you put in there, Larry. But appreciate you checking us out. This is a little different than the soccer shows, a little bit more in our grooves here. Army Tulane. David, you've been asking about that game all week. I mean, can you get a harder game on the card? I mean,
yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it looks like, what is it? Banks is now upgraded to probable. But again, that doesn't mean that much in college football. Probable means like, yeah, he's going to be in uniform.
Listen, Donnie, I hate to say it. This doesn't come down to whether Motley or Banks plays. This is going to be about, is Tulane going to be able to stay in this football game by not making mistakes and defending the option? Because Army runs it better than anyone, better than Navy. But I think they run it better than anyone.
Jeff, positive, right? That they already played Navy to get a look-see at that type of offense.
Sure, and they play a similar offense as well. So their practice, the defense sees it. For me, when I can get Navy as a dog against a team like Tulane, I would lean that way just because I think you're not gonna get those bad penalties and stupid decisions that maybe a Tulane might make or any other team might make. The Army is just a different group. I'm not saying they're going to win; they could lose, but I just feel more comfortable. That's all. Utah money line.
Yeah, looking at that too, Jeff. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Don. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say in that Army thing, the one thing that doesn't make you saw both of those teams got busted up, and rightfully so. I mean, you didn't expect Army to go into Ohio State and get a victory. You didn't expect Tulane to go into Oklahoma and get a victory. They got beat up pretty good, so they're going to come back in this game. The one thing, Army is banged up a little bit, Jeff, in the secondary, but who cares in this football game, right? It doesn't matter if you're banged up in the secondary between these two ball clubs.
Nah, that doesn't mean anything. They're not going to throw. Utah money line or take -4. Yeah, I'm not taking a money line on a -4. I don't do that.
What's that, like 250?
Yeah, come on, dude. I'm on Utah 3.5. Already mentioned it. I mentioned it yesterday. Mentioned it all week. I think it's a great play. I did it on the BMOC Bet Buffet. Feel free to check that out on SBR. The video's there. I did a nice long breakdown for that. Jeff, do you like Celtic tomorrow? Yes, I've like Celtic every game. And Donnie, I got to take a minute to talk about this game. Celtic Rangers tomorrow. The best rivalry in sports in the world. Celtic Rangers tomorrow. Scotland, Ibrox, Glasgow. It's going to be fun. Celtic is very bettable tomorrow. If you don't bet them now, don't wait. Get on them now. Celtic at -135. Lock it up. I want everyone to put a play in on this. Jump on the luck of the Irish tomorrow. Get on Celtic. This is a huge game for these two. They hate each other. It is much talked about in the media. Go with Celtic tomorrow. Monaco versus Lille.
Why don't we talk Kent Louisville?
What's up?
Why don't we talk Kent versus Louisville?
Go ahead. What do you got?
What's the team total? But put it this way. It's probably not out yet, and I haven't checked. What would you say the team total for Kent is coming in versus Louisville tomorrow?
What is the total?
If you look at the overall, the total is I don't know what the team total is. I actually don't think there's even one out yet. I haven't actually.
I could figure it out. Okay, the total
for the football game is 56, and the line is 44.
Okay, so it would be.
Kent's not going to score 10 points, are they?
No.
9.5.
It's going to be probably 9.5. Yeah.
Donnie, this team struggles getting like positive yards.
I know, but remember, Louisville's not great defensively. But I hear you.
But like George Bolus is starting this game, Jeff. Like you don't even have and say like you got tough ass Nick Holly who might be able to run for 132 yards over the course of the game running read option. Like they're down to like their spare parts of it. Jeff, they got shut out versus Marshall last week. Shut out versus Marshall.
Yeah, you look at pace of play. I mean, Kent State 58.5 plays a game, one of the worst in the country. Yeah, I can't disagree with you on that. I mean, I think when
This
you
game,
bet
Jeff,
Kent
when we
State
saw, yeah,
under
go
every
ahead.
week, it's a smart idea.
But I mean, they played, was it Clemson? Like, and this is the same type of environment. Let's just say they're saying, you know what, our only shot, obviously, we're not going to win a national title. We need to focus on MAC play. We went down to Clemson. We didn't even try because we didn't want to get hurt for the season. This is our last big game, Power 5 conference school that's way better than us and a 44-point favorite. Let's go into this football game with the same mentality as Clemson. We'll run the ball up the middle. We'll bleed clock. We'll try not to get embarrassed in this football game, but it's most important that we don't get anybody hurt here. I actually see that as their game plan again, Jeff.
Yeah,
They're going to open it up and play wide open with nobody at quarter. Like George Bolus, for all the herald that he came into the MAC saying, oh, my God, he's one of all-state quarterback out of high school. I'm at a loss for words at how bad he is, how bad their offense is. But I can't see. Like, I almost want to take 44 because actually the line jumped. It was like 39, 38 when it opened. Then all of a sudden Holly's out and it goes to 44. Nick Holly doesn't even score points for them when he's in there. So why is there a 6-point jump going to the backup? They're still as bad.
Yeah. No,
it's funny that we talk about Kent, though, but it's an interesting one.
Yeah, I think the team total.
Matt Holt said team total 6.
Yeah, I mean, 50-6 gets you to good point. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I have to, when I look at big favorites, which I bet on frequently, the goal is, if you like the dog, do you think they can score? I don't think they can score. So I think Louisville crushes them in this game. I think Louisville kind of takes some frustration out. Louisville didn't look good last week. Lamar Jackson might have 7-8 touchdowns in this game.
Do you look at the first half? What would the first half line be in that one? Something around maybe 27.5 points, maybe something like that.
24-28, I think, something like that.
Like this is one of those football games where at the end of the first quarter you can contemplate 21-0, right? I mean, I think that might be the way to go in this.
I think at half it's 35-0.
That sounds 35-0 or 35-3, where they got lucky with a turnover and kicked a field goal from like 44 yards.
Tampa Bay's up to 2.5, Donnie.
Come on, Matt. Push the buttons, Matt. Push the buttons.
He ain't pushing the buttons. It's the bettors coming in. They're hammering Tampa Bay.
No, but he has the ability, Jeff, to get into the mainframe system and hook me up right now.
Oh man. No, listen, on that game, I would lay the number with Louisville. I think they crush Kent State. Kent State stinks. Kent State's
such an interesting game, but you look at that and you say somebody's almost, going to be in trouble. But I'm telling you, I do not be surprised if you say and how many times have I tweeted, Jeff, they didn't even have a passing yard again versus Marshall at the half.
Yeah.
What are we doing in college football?
Yeah. The Louisville's probably excited for this game defensively. I mean, they're going to look great tomorrow, you would think. Where are we going here? Any upsets?
I like this. By the way, this is fun. Go ahead.
Yeah. Any upsets to look out for in college football? Yeah, we'll get to a couple, I'm sure. I'm not talking about Oak State TCU again. I've talked about that game probably 7-8 times. I did a video for it. It's up on SBR. It's called the Bet Buffet. There's a video on that game specifically with Drew Martin. Give a look to it. It's about 4 minutes long. It's a good video. Donnie's just sitting on his book, just refreshing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to get this done. It's going to be interesting when those books replace it, because I know a lot of the numbers come up, but a lot of locals and people are real apprehensive on this football game because as Jeff just got 2.5, the line might end up 3 the other way. Books don't like to get caught with their pants down like that quite a bit, so there's going to be a lot of delay.
Dude, how quick do you think they probably pulled that game down? Like, I was probably like a minute before they pulled it. I would.
Yeah. Yep.
I feel like I got it just at that. I feel like I'm going to get a message saying you got a bad line. Fuck, you're bad. Like,
yeah. No, but the best part about that, Jeff, is with the local. You don't get message until the game is final. If you won, that was a ridiculous line. That was unfair. If you lost, hey, you thought you beat the line.
Dude, have I ever told you the story about the book I used to have when I was younger?
What's that?
Okay, I used to have this book.
Yeah.
No, you never heard this. This is a great. I don't think you did. This is a great story about books. Okay, I used to have this guy. Right, he was a one-man operation. He was a nice kid too. He was like he had a pretty decent job, but on the side he probably had like 20 different guys that put in bets with him, and he had a limit. Like you could only bet like 500 or less a game, and he had the system where basically he would use it wasn't SBR. It was called scoresandodds.com. And basically whatever the line was on there, he would use. So you go to your games and you go, all right, well, I want Wyoming -4. So whatever that website had, he would use. There was a thing at a Scores and Odds where sometimes they would, Donnie, put out the wrong line. It was like a mistake thing. And I remember one time, one of my boys and I, we found out that on a big Saturday of college basketball, there were at least 2 or 3 mistakes. Like they would list like Coastal Carolina against like Wyoming. They would list Wyoming like a 20-point underdog. And like it was way off. And we all knew that too. But the book just went with whatever that website had. So I remember one day my boy calls me. He's like, yo, did you see 419, 420? I'm like, nah, what's up? I look at it and I'm like, holy fuck. I said, let me hit this guy up first. So I hit him up casually. I'm like, look, what do you got the Wyoming line at? He's like, let me look. He's like, +21. I'm like, beautiful.
Yeah, but did you hide it behind like 3 games at first? Like you check in on 3 other games?
No, not even.
I came right out and said, what's the Wyoming line? Oh, man, you almost tipped him off.
No, the thing was I didn't because he knew that I bet any like random games. He knew I bet obscure games. So it didn't really look weird. So I bet the max on the game. I'm like, give me the max. Then I have my boy hit him up and go, hey, what's the line on Wyoming? And he bets the max. Jesus. Then fucking Ryan gets involved and hits him up and goes, what's the line on Wyoming? And he hits you up. He goes, yo, I don't know how many of these games you've gotten in on me. He goes, but you know that's a mistake. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, that's the Scores and Odds hat. He goes, come on, man. He goes, you've been doing this a long time. I know that. He goes, don't try to do that again with me. And I was, from that day on, he never took my action again.
Ryan ruined it.
Yeah, he fucking ruined it. He hit him up. He's like, because he gets all this action on Wyoming. And he doesn't look at the line.
I don't know. Exactly. It's not like you're getting Ohio State, Michigan action today to game. You're getting some random ass, game. Yeah. And back then we're talking Wyoming when you're growing up. Wyoming wasn't like Wyoming that it is now. No, that's actually, playing good football.
It was like out of conference. And like, he knew that I bet this kind of games, but when he started getting all this abnormal action on Wyoming, it just ruined it. But he was stupid. I mean, he just literally went with whatever they had. Where are we going here?
Texas A&M, Arkansas. Good. I should say, I don't know about a good game, but a very interesting game in that one.
Yeah, I don't have much on this game. I don't think. I think Kevin Sumlin's a dead man walking, as they say. I think he's
coming off a bye. Who's coming off? It's Arkansas coming off a bye. I know they had a team fight this week, but nobody's out for the game. I know people were saying they broken jaw for the starting running back, which isn't the case. They're going to play, but 2 coaches, Jeff. You want to say the hot seat can get any hotter for them? That's woo.
No, and they're off of a Texas A&M off a game where they had to rally to beat a really poor Louisiana Lafayette team. And Arkansas is off of a game they were never really in for the most part against TCU, but they did have a bye, so that's good. But again, I mean, Arkansas is a team that have weapons. I mean, they have Austin Allen, and they have decent running backs, but they seem to be this team every year. They can throw in an upset here or there or whatever, but it's an early game. Texas A&M. I don't believe a lot in what Kevin Sumlin's selling right now. The quarterback's out, Starkel. Yeah, I lean Arkansas here. I think they're the play here.
Now, yeah.
I like Allen at the end of the day. I think he's a pretty solid quarterback, and off a bye against the team that's really struggling right now. What a backup quarterback. I like Texas A&M. I like Kirk and Travion Williams, but they just don't have really anyone to throw to them. So yeah, for me, I'd lean with the Razorbacks here, the Hogs. Donnie, any? I think we had a question on where are we at here? Big man, you caught it with Bradford. I told you I have this info. I told you I have this good info. I have a connect.
Jeff didn't go for the pump fake yesterday.
No,
good man.
I'm right. I have better info than Schefter. I'm telling you. I have connections in this business. Remember that guy when you were younger, Donnie? He come into the barbershop. He literally could get you anything. That's me.
Sure.
I'm literally the Red from Shawshank Redemption. That's me. I can get you anything you need. Any info you need, I got you. I have someone sitting on Sam Bradford's house. I got you. Donnie, you Domporn wrapped in a facty. Any thought about hockey, big man? No, I hate hockey. No, I have nothing on hockey.
Jeff, 13 days. We're going to have to start breaking down the hockey card again. Remember all throughout the winter
question,
when we were doing shows together, people coming like, you're talking hockey, and I would just be like, yeah, hot goalie tonight, take the Rangers.
What do you think about the Flames tonight? And people be like, why are you wearing a Flyers shirt? I just wear random team shirts. Everyone knows that. I have a Florida Gulf Coast t-shirt. Can you get me Brandy Love? Yeah, actually I can, because I have a connect that knows her. I possibly could make that happen. Can you get me a passport? I can't fuck with the feds there, cuz I can't even get myself a passport. Jay is just spouting games off. Jay, you go through this a lot. You just have Jay, what does your book look like? Do you bet on every game? Seems like you bet on every game. It's amazing.
He wants us to match up a parlay for him. I can't get, by the way, 5 dimes or my local, Jeff. Nothing yet up on that Tampa Bay line.
They're sitting on it. They know you're just sitting there waiting on it, Donnie.
They're furious that Jeff got in at that number right now.
How good am I? How good is my CLV? It's just so good. Sean Glass looking for my $42 on 6 for $1,400. Good for that. Good luck on that, there, pal.
By the way, Jeff, interesting one here, which I thought would be a much better game offensively than it's going to turn out. College football, 371, 372. Bowling Green and Middle Tennessee State. A lot of injuries in this game, pulling that down. Because if you would have told me, Jeff, both of these teams are healthy and ready to go, a 55.5 in this one, it's almost, it figures like 15 to 20 points too low, but how are you going to mess around with Stockstill banged up, Richie James banged up? And again, if you're looking at Bowling Green, that offense hasn't kicked it into gear yet. I almost want to say it's finally going to take place, Jeff, and it's finally going to get after it, but I can't. I can't do it.
Listen, another wing piece of information here. Stockstill's not playing in this game. No way. I mean, he's got a collarbone problem. He had a collarbone issue last year. He's not playing.
Is it his collarbone? Is it his sternum this year? Something weird.
It's a cracked collarbone, I believe. Some kind of collarbone problem. He's not playing in this game. There's no way. I would go under as well. Bowling Green can't move the football. I think Middle Tennessee's getting better defensively. I think this is a boring football game. By the way, Donnie, I think Matt Holt should hire me. I'm good with information, aren't I? I could be. Yep. I might be a good.
You could be beneficial to him.
Good point for the book. I mean, I'm great with getting.
You know what? Yeah, if you're like with a book, you know what I mean. Like you have to have like all hands on deck. Do you have like the application on your phone? Like you know how you see like the latest like Wells Fargo. Like if I lost my debit card, I can just turn it off. Like all of a sudden you're out in the car and you get those alerts come in. Ben Roethlisberger's not playing. Like you just tap in your phone and push one button and just shut it all down so nobody can wager. It's got to be pretty cool, like the nuclear button.
Yeah, I think that's all done by machines and stuff, but it would be cool to like. I've always wanted to see that Midas thing they have. Midas is like the thing that creates the lines, and no one goes in and can see it, but it's run by like math. The
SBR odds guys when we were down there, Jeff, in Costa Rica. I mean, it was quiet. It was a Saturday, but there was 3 or 4 guys in the back manning computer systems to make sure those lines were up and running. It was kind of interesting to watch.
Yeah, I've actually I've seen documentaries on that. It's it's literally just people in an office. I would love to like do shit like that. That's pretty dope.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Jeff, make a phone call before. Hey, by the way, we're going to move this line. You might want to get in on it right now. Make those connections, man.
Matt Holt at IFBC said he was looking for good people to hire, big man. Well, I might have to get in touch with Matt.
Problem is,
problem is, I don't want to live in Vegas, but hey, for Matt, I may do anything. So. Matt's a good guy. I'm sure he'll be on with Donnie Wright today on the closing line, 6:00 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, no, we'll have a good time on that show as well. I believe Drew Martin's going to join me today. And again, hey, there is baseball out there. Don't get us wrong. Yeah, Jeff can't be on Friday. There's way too much knowledge going on Friday. He can't be on.
For whatever reason,
the show will go too long.
I'm admonished.
Show goes too long.
I'm on the Tuesday shows, which nothing goes on.
Oh, Jeff, you're a baseball guy, Jeff.
Right.
You are a baseball guy. We need you.
I thought Drew Martin was a baseball guy. That's what I heard, but I guess not. Sharp money on Maryland. Big public action on UFC Pros versus Joe's games for us. UCF. Okay, big action. Big public action. UCF.
Look, Matt, by the way, Matt Holt can't get enough of us, Jeff. He's back. He says, you know what? Forget my day job. I'm back in here with the shows.
He canceled the meeting and said, I got to get into the right side of camp. Too busy for that. I'm too busy. Tillman Fertitta. I got to go do something else. good stuff there.
By the way, Jeff, just to get something straight here, if your best player of your football team is out this weekend, you still should bet accordingly. So, like, you know what I mean? Bradford's out. The line really shouldn't move, shouldn't it? Or it doesn't matter, I was told.
By who?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, right.
Come on, Jeff.
Okay, I remember.
You're usually faster than me on
I'll tell you what, dude, Donnie. Today, I'm not on my medication today, so I'm kind of feeling weird right now, to be honest.
Let's take a couple more of these games out here, Jeff, in football. We got about 10, 15 minutes to go here. Anything out there on the chat box you want to look at? Ohio State minus 44. Of course. Let's talk about that game.
Yeah. By the way, I want to comment on this. I thought Teddy Covers was way off on his discussion last night.
It was fun. I had a good time. I love debate like that. Me and Jeff yell at each other quite a bit.
Sure. I think David Johnson's integral to that. I don't think they're very good without him. I think offensively they struggle. Will struggle without him. They have an old receiver at 34 years old in the slot.
They're getting banged out. Arizona's done.
Very average receivers. No running game and a quarterback that must retire. He must retire. It's time to move on.
If you have David Johnson was 30% of Arizona's offense as a running back last year. Can you imagine that? That is unbelievable. That's an unbelievable stat.
It's kind of like when Creighton lost Maurice Watson last year. That's kind of the depth of what I think Arizona is going to be. I think they're going to have a lot of trouble without him. But where else did I want to go? Oh, by the way, Donnie, I wanted to discuss this. Last night on Gabe's show, which went till about 1:30 Eastern, we were actually in there having Thurman and I were having a pretty fun conversation, actually. We were talking about John Gotti, and we were talking about we were doing the college, where did this person go to college game. And Tho Marino could not stump me on any, seemingly. But we had a rule. It had to be at least 3 seconds or less when you answered. But we had to stop because shitheads were in there, saying them.
What, last night?
Yeah. Matt Holt, I hear there's sharp action on Florida Atlantic University. Are you seeing any action too at your place in FAU? FAU plays Buffalo. FAU off a bye, I believe, if I'm correct, heading up to the Buffalo Bulls. Donnie, you like Buffalo. You like Tyree Jackson, don't you? You're a fan of his, aren't you?
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm actually not a big fan of him at quarterback, but I'm actually a fan of what the program is trying to build. We all know it was going to take some time for Leopold to come into that organization like it's pro, into that program, change it up, because he has a winning background. I think they're finally getting to that. Buffalo at home's a pretty good football team for the most part. And again, Jeff, your FAU squad out there, the land of misfit toys, we're all playing for ourselves, including the head coach. You talk about it all the time. Not great for team building down there.
No. I think they're a team that's kind of lost without a paddle, honestly. I think Lane Kiffin, I just don't think he's a real leader as a head coach. He's got a big job down there. I don't really get it or understand it, but we'll see how it goes. Donnie, do you like Miami of Ohio? That's a tough game for them. They have not played well this year, Miami.
Yeah, some injuries on that team too. Yeah, I'm waiting for them to get right here. Usually you would look at that football game like, oh man, I'm zeroed right in on. I like this matchup, but I need to actually see a week or two out of Miami of Ohio. It's a good point by you, Jeff, but they're a little bit banged up at some positions that you can't be banged up at: running back, wide receiver. I need to see them another week before I get a feel on Miami.
I'll be honest. I think it's a must win. I think they have to win this football game. I mean, Central Michigan has injuries as well at the receiver position.
I think killer on that. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I think Miami has to go on the road and win this game. But they have a big game coming up at Notre Dame. I'm sure they'll be looking ahead to that one. But right now, they need to reel themselves in as a football program because they're 1-2. Their only wins against Austin Peay, which no one cares about. They need to get a win here on the road, and they should be able to do it. Central Michigan's not great. I think it's a must-win for the Redhawks early in the season here.
Good one, too, that Ohio game this weekend, Jeff. Ohio, Eastern Michigan, two good football teams coming in. And again, Jeff, we talked so many times last year. We used to wait because Ohio seems injured every year. And all I used to tell you when we used to talk is, man, if Poppy White's going to play in this game, it's going to really open up the Ohio offense. He's out for the year again. My God, kid can't catch a break.
Yeah, I think they made a change of quarterback as well.
There's two. They play two quarterbacks every game. That's what they do.
Yeah, I hate that. It's always something with Ohio, and one of the reasons I'm kind of annoyed with this team every year. But King Al, BC Hamilton. We don't do CFL. I don't know. I couldn't tell you shit about it. Ian Cameron. Ask him. He's a CFL guy.
He's a big Red Blacks guy, Jeff. Big Red Blacks guy.
Yeah, I'll take this one. San Diego State Air Force. Will SDSU cover -4? You know what? I think they will because everyone is on Air Force. I continue seeing Air Force everywhere. Fucking Scott Van Pelt's on Air Force. Everyone's on Air Force. It's a bad spot for the Aztecs.
I love it. I love
Rocky Long's a good football coach. They're going to be fine. They face the option all the time. It'll be a good game. We'll see. I'm not on it. It's not a premium play of mine or anything. I'm just excited about my Aztecs right now. I think they're going to play well here. So,
Jeff, Penn State, Iowa. Penn State, Iowa is next on the docket for you. What do we got?
I'm going to actually avoid that one if I can.
Ooh,
I have a
right.
tip-top secret play on that game that I can't.
Let me get to this one here. I like the fact that we can pick on these smaller schools. We talked the big games all week long, Jeff. 363, 364, Hawaii and Wyoming. 75% lining up on Wyoming here. Line opens up at 7, currently down to 6. I agree with the line movement towards Hawaii. Wyoming, I know if you come in with the big quarterback, he might be the top 1, 2, or 3 pick in the draft. He's banged up. They haven't looked that good. The one thing I'm looking at here, Jeff, is the 58 over-under. I think Hawaii can score points here. I'm not to say Hawaii because they play on the mainland, they can win this football game, but do you have any reason to believe that Wyoming's going to blow Hawaii away here?
No, I like the over in this game, 58.5.
Yep, me too.
Hawaii runs good tempo, 79 plays a game. I think Wyoming, I think as far as frustration, they have to be one of the more frustrated teams in the country. Josh Allen just can't get going, but I don't think he has a lot of trouble tomorrow getting going against Hawaii. Hawaii is a poor defensive team. I think we see plenty of points in this game. Hawaii can move the football as well. Wyoming's another team that does struggle to get stops. I think this will be a pretty high-scoring game, kind of like what we saw last week, but I think we'll see a little bit more scoring from Wyoming. I think it's like a 34, 31 type of game. Both offenses should get into the 30s, I would think. By the way,
I just thought that was an interesting one. Go ahead.
Little nugget. I see. I think the common theme nowadays is, and I even did it in week 1, is going with overs in Washington football games. Just keep in mind, Washington. Yeah. Washington is 126th in plays per game at 57. They love to slow it down. So make sure you're looking at that. Tempo is important. Joe Duffy always told me that. I know in basketball it's big for me, but in football it is as well. Obviously, the more plays you run, the more chances you have to score. The more chances you have.
A chance to go 3 and out. Like how many times we see these teams with tempo, Jeff? 3 plays in 16 seconds and they're punting. You're 100% right there.
Yeah. I agree with you totally. Let's do a couple more and then we'll jump off. Yeah. Who did Scott Van Pelt's partner from ESPN have? I don't know, nor do I care. Stanford Steve's a moron. Very hard to bet overs in Dallas games as well. Extremely slow tempo team.
Has a lot of tempo in the NFL though. You know what I mean? It's not very many Chip Kelly offenses anymore.
No, probably like Atlanta.
But yeah, but again, you bring up a good point. I mean, there's a reason why they call it the Dak and Dunk offense. I mean, it's not a big play, quote unquote, offense for Dallas.
Right. Atlanta, Green Bay is pretty high up tempo. It seems like they're not a ton though. But college and basketball, I'm all about tempo. Some of those teams. I mean, Citadel. I mean, teams like that. I'm just constantly moving with the.
Hey, Jeff, how about those teams in the big sky up there?
Portland State, yeah, sure. IPFW, teams like that.
Great. We're almost around that time of the year, too.
There's nothing better. I am the king of small college basketball. The king. You want to come at me? Make sure you fucking do. But you're not going to fucking come at me, motherfuckers. All baby. All day.
Jeff, if you cover a game live on the air, will you be telling the audience out there in the live chat box to go fuck themselves and give them the finger again?
I wasn't necessarily talking to them. I was really talking to the team.
I still laugh at that every time we tell that story. I still laugh at it. It's great.
We got 2 Cougars and Texas Tech games here. I like Texas Tech. I think in this game, I think it's going to be a close game. I think Houston's a good front 7. They kind of remind me of the Eagles. Good front 7, but their secondary has some concerns. And look, Texas Tech hasn't gotten away from what they love to do, and that's throw the football. I mean, they're first in the country in passing offense. They're getting a solid 7 at 5 dimes. I would look that way. They're playing pretty well, Texas Tech. It's an in-state matchup here. Houston's kind of had a weird start to the year, new coach, new quarterback. And I've heard, Donnie, now again, this is where connections come into play. I've heard there's a little bit of dissension in the locker room down at Houston. Some guys want De'Ara King to play. Some want Kyle Allen to play. So there's some questions going on down there at Texas. So for me, I kind of like the Red Raiders here. You guys should replace Chris the Bear and Stanford Steve. Thank you. I've heard that before. We should. I don't know what qualifications they have to give out picks, but I guess ESPN likes them. Yeah, the Mastodons. Donnie, there's been a lot of teams that have been profitable. There's been a lot of teams that have lost money for me. IPFW, I will go down as saying one of my most successful college basketball teams. They had a run 2 years ago with Max Landis, Mo Evans, Brett Conchar. They had a great team. Covered every game, it seemed like. It was amazing. They were the best team in college basketball against the spread. It was just fantastic. IUPUI, you know who their most famous basketball player is, Donnie? IUPUI?
Who is that?
George Hill. The Jaguars of IUPUI.
All right, here we go. Tom Marino, I got to stop this right now. Tom Marino is going to take Arizona to win 8 football games. You PayPal me or wherever you want to set up the money. You know, we can even do it for charity. I'll take that in a heartbeat right now. No way they win 9 games. Absolutely no way they get the 9 games.
Yeah, I'll double down on that if you want.
That was fantastic. I love it. I mean, I love taking Trump's monies, man. I love it.
Donnie's criticism of Palmer is very similar of CeCe Sabathia in baseball. Yeah, look, your CeCe Sabathia reference was a little premature, but I do get what he's saying. He didn't say that he didn't like CeCe. He just didn't like his physical stature. And we can't disagree. I mean, he's an athlete that's surely out of shape. But I think his criticism of Palmer is that he just doesn't think Palmer's any good anymore, and he's right.
He doesn't have his fastball anymore. Like, it's done. The team, they're done. I don't like, we could talk about this all day. You have to make adjustments. Like Jeff and I talked before the show, and I'm going to say it again. I had last night the Rams losing that football game. That was I had them winning opening day, losing the next game, and then going on a losing streak. I will readjust on my criticism of the Rams if they continue to win. Obviously, I thought they were a bad football team coming in. So did a lot of other people out there. People have different opinions because you don't see these teams play. But Arizona coming into the season, I wasn't that high on that football team. But when you lose maybe the MVP of the league as your only offensive threat, I'm going to downgrade your team. And it's not like Jeff, Arizona came in at a 12-win clip for a team total. Correct me if I'm wrong. They were at 8.5. Is that right?
Yeah.
Something around that range?
Yeah.
So you lost your only offense you have.
8 games without David Johnson.
It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even compute. Like, it doesn't even compute.
So is this
if you would have told me if Carson Palmer would have went down week 1 with an injury that kept him out 9 weeks, I don't even know if I would have downgraded the Cardinals because, they still got David Johnson. That's their offense. They'll find, a backup quarterback and lean on their defense.
So is this a bet? I would have looked at it. Don Marino, do you agree to the bet?
I'll bet in a second. Yeah, come on. Yeah, come up with the money, man. Come up with the money.
Okay, I disagree. Don Marino, we should call him Tho Marino Covers. They're saying a lot of the same things, him and Teddy Covers. Yeah, listen, Don Marino, come up with what you want to do for Donnie Wright. Said he called you out and wants to see
let's
what
do
you're.
It. Yes, let's please.
Can I get 7.5?
That 8 will be the total.
Can I get no? You
yeah,
can't.
Exactly. No, because he's done. He's done. There's no way they win 9. The team stinks. They stink. That team stinks. And again, Tho Marino brings up a good point here. Well, David Johnson's not out for the whole season. When they're like 3 and
it doesn't matter though.
3 and like heading in. Why are they bringing back David Johnson for the last couple of games so he can get injured again for next season?
Right.
Keep in mind for David Johnson, correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, he is in his walk year to be a free agent and wants big money. You don't think his agent's on the phone going, hey, Dave, you ain't getting back in there for a team that's not going to make the playoffs. I'm sorry. Sit it out, brother.
Right. He's and for right now he's way out, so I don't see it. Can we please stop calling baseball players athletes? No, they're athletes. What do you mean? Why?
Is that not an athlete? What's that about?
What do you mean? Marco, what do you mean by that? We're gonna call them athletes. That's what they are.
Yeah, already backtracking Tho Marino, so he's done. Yes, come on, he don't want to bet. Come on, Tho.
Yeah, Tho Marino, you came in, if you don't want to came in hard at 8. Now you won 7.
The bet's at 8. The bet's at 8. Then they win 8, push. They win 9. You win. Same thing. Yeah. Come on, man, get out of here. Stop it. You don't bet. No, not fair. You already said it. And the whole point is Arizona is done for the season. Is Arizona going to make the playoffs? No, they're done. They're done for the season. They're not making the playoffs. That's done. In the NFL, if you don't make the playoffs, Jeff, what is your season?
A failure.
It's a failure, and you're done. Yes.
I'll give them 7.5. I don't care.
That team's they're gonna get ripped on Monday night. I can't wait to. I mean, I'm like, it gives me renewed energy here out here.
You can't come at someone and say, I want to do 8 games, then 5 minutes later, oh well, I want to do 7. That values your argument a lot. You know what I mean?
But that's debate. That's what football's great about, Jeff. Me and Jeff have a wager here. Ours the.
That's like
I'm not going to back off like, oh, Jeff, can we readjust it? No, we're going to stay with the same bet. And if I lose, I'll pay Jeff $100.
That's like if your dad says to you, hey, were you smoking weed last night? No, Dad, I wasn't. I might have had a puff.
Yeah.
BMOC, if they win 8 games, why wouldn't I bet the season win total at 8?
Well, you don't win it then. That's the whole point. If the win total was 8, you did 8. You didn't win the bet. That's the whole. Isn't that the point?
Right. If you're in this business to push, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's like calling NASCAR drivers and okay, here we go, Marco. You have that way of thinking. I think they're how are you going to relate NASCAR drivers to baseball players? You want to explain that?
It's a little bit different.
Yeah. I don't know. What? So Marino, my neighborhood, you get a couple teeth knocked out for that move, punk. Yeah. That's like going to the bookie and saying, well, I bet all my money on these games, but I didn't mean to do that. Is this documented or what?
Hey, we'll bet it at 8. If it ends up at 7.
Doctors are also athletes.
Yeah,
no, come on, you can't compare.
If you need stamina to do that 8-hour surgery, man. Yeah.
Right.
I guess there is a point spread because if the guy loses his life or he survives, you win the point spread. I guess that way.
So is a porn star? Are they athletes?
I mean, there's not really a score in that, though. Is there a score?
Yeah. How many bodies you catch, bro?
That's true. Yeah.
By the way, I saw someone on Twitter today that there was a world record set, Donnie, recently of most people you had sex with in one day. This woman claims 919 guys she had sex with in one day, 24 hours.
That just doesn't even make sense.
How's that possible?
How do you even let that out that you did that?
She was a porn star, I guess.
And how do you find 900 guys?
I guess she had a gangbang set up where like they just came boom, 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 leave, boom, leave. I know.
Underdogs that we should be aware of that Donnie Wright said. Have underdogs in what? College football or pro football? What are we looking at? Because everybody's a live dog in the NFL. I mean, the spreads are so low.
Yeah,
Jeff, live dog. I would say what? Iowa live dog to win outright double-digit type spread. One of those.
Let me look here. I'm going to give you a live dog. All right, you want a live dog? I'm going to fucking give you a live dog.
Double-digit live dog. Yeah, don't give me no
double-digit line dog. Okay. Give me a second here. Let me look. I'm going to go with double-digit outright. Shit.
No, like a live dog, a team that you know is going to cover that line and possibly win the football game. That's a live dog.
Yeah, I got you. NC State.
Jeff, go ahead, give Vanderbilt. I thought you were going to get
NC State. The Wolf Pack. All right, guys. That's going to be it for today. I'm all over the place here. Donnie's all over the place. We're just banging off games one by one. I feel like I've talked about every game on the card, but hey,
I know.
I'll do it again tomorrow, 11 o'clock a.m. Sports Bet likes Colorado. They like Colorado.
Double-digit dog at home. I mean, hey, dogs are live.
That's another good double. Yeah, that's another. There's a lot of double-digit dogs this week.
Yeah.
I mean, Iowa, Purdue, Colorado. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of those dogs at home this week.
Missouri, I would not say is a live dog this weekend, Jeff.
No. Missouri is, but again, Donnie, if you look back to 1992, they are 44-24 with sunny skies and the temperature between 60 and 64 degrees. So Missouri might be a live dog this week. How many leagues has that many overweight athletes? Okay, Marco, you don't like baseball. We're aware. We get it. Okay? I mean, we get you don't think Bartolo Colon and CeCe Sabathia are athletes. But here's the big fucking deal, Marco. They get paid more than you do, and they have a gift. They strike out people for a living. They can do that. You can. That's why they're athletes, Marco. So, again, you might not think it, but it doesn't matter what you think. We watch it, and so do you.
NFL's got a ton of fat athletes.
Right.
I would say NFL probably has more fat athletes, right? Just be linemen.
Correct. Yeah. How many offensive linemen are over 330 pounds? A lot of them.
Yeah.
Marco? Come on. Big man on campus going full Allahu Akbar. Come on. That has nothing to do with this. Jimmy the Bag, go watch a gangbang, Marco. That's funny. Why are we talking about doctors? I don't get why that has anything to do with this. Donnie, Arizona to win 8 games. If they win 8 games, I win the bet.
8 is a push. That's the whole theory of it. 8 is a push.
No,
7,
you don't
win. 9, you win. That's the bet. Yes.
9, you win. Correct.
Exactly. 7, I win. 9, you win.
So is this a bet or what? Joe Marino, are you in or out?
I know. No, it's never going to be a bet. No, he's always out.
He ain't going to say yes on that. Give him 7.
He likes to play. He likes to play contrarian like I do. So as soon as I say if I liked, the opposite way where Arizona stinks,
Donnie, give him an Asian handicap. Give him a 7.75.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that though. We have to figure an Asian handicap out on that.
Bet a 3-way line. That's a good idea. Good call, D. Patrick. Do a 3-way line.
Like a lightning wager, right?
No. So do 8. Okay, so you do 8 at a number. Do under 8 at a number, and then do if it goes on a push, you get -1. I don't know. Do something like that. That's a good idea. Or just take the bet. Donnie, give him 7.5.
No, because the whole point is there. People are telling me Arizona's going to be a good football team, so you have to go at least 8-8 for a push to be a average football team. If you're saying Arizona's not done, why are you even giving me 8? You should be like 9.5. They're going to win the division now, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole point. Like my whole point on this is not so much the actual wins. It's Arizona lost their only football player on offense, and they are done. And when you get pushback for that, it sort of gives me a chuckle. They're not done. How are they not done?
All right, I'm putting a stop to this. 30 seconds. Donnie, 8, do you want it?
8's a push, the same way it always is.
Okay, Tho Marino, do you agree to that or no?
What's the big deal? Yeah, 8's a push. 9, you win. 7, I win. What's so hard about that?
I mean, are you in or out, Tho Marino? Yes or no? 8 is not a push. Or is a push. 8's a push. Yeah. If they go 8-8, you get your money back.
Theoretically, Jeff, if you lose your running back, it's only a half of a point. So why not are we still on 8.5 that this season started on, right? Like, well, I'm even giving him a discount right now.
I'm willing to give him 7.5. I think they're 7-9 team, but
you stink.
But okay, I guess he doesn't want 8. Okay, very good, Don Marino.
Yeah, no, he's done. No, don't pay. No, he's not a gambler. He doesn't.
He's
gamble.
not a gambler.
Don't worry about it.
He doesn't gamble.
No.
All right. Donnie getting a little personal. I agree though. I think Tho Marino, if you're gonna
when you say 8, if you say 8's the number.
Right. Yeah, right.
Yeah, if you say 8's the number, that's a push. If you get 8, that's the wage.
That's how books pay it. I mean, they're not going to give you your money. They're not going to give you, half your bet back or
7.5. Why not just make it 5.5 now? We can just negotiate. You said 8. I was going to bet you 8. You said no. So
you want an auctioneer to come in? Hey, give me 8. Give me 7, 6, 7, 8.
I'll buy a half point and get to that. Come on, man. Stop. All right, Jeff, what are we doing?
If you're going to come in heavy-handed, Don Marino, you best come in heavy-handed.
You best come in heavy-handed. Correct.
But all right, Rich Banks, we're in 2nd grade today. Well, then don't listen, Rich. I mean, I don't. We're having fun here, Rich. Having fun. I can't lie. I'm having fun. What's that? What movie is that from, Donnie?
What?
I got to tell you, I'm having fun.
I don't know. What is that from?
It's from Happy Gilmore. They ask him. He asks him about. Chubbs Peterson asked him about golf, and Happy goes, "I got to admit, I'm having fun." Donnie's just mad because of Thursday Angle getting destroyed.
Oh yeah, they didn't cover last night, did they, Phil Marino?
2 games in, dude. What?
And they covered last night. Yeah.
And it's 2 games in, bro. I mean, he's trying his system out. I forgot 2 games in was a destroyed.
Well, yeah, exactly. The Thursday thing is, and even the cover on Thursday night, so it won last night. So again,
you've called me out for being a little bit abrasive. I will admit, when people don't agree with you, you do get a little personal. A lot of the time.
Come on, man. I do bet money line every Thursday.
He didn't want to do what you did, and now you're coming at his system and calling him out or something. You know?
No, they see it. No, you see, that's what makes this show so fun because I love playing contrarian. No matter what you say, he
Yeah.
just says the opposite. But it's funny that he's a lawyer, and I just beat down me and you both, Jeff, beat down every one of his arguments, which is probably why he's not a practicing lawyer anymore, right?
Yeah, Thurman, I mean, listen, here's the thing about the internet, and I'm not calling you out. I'm calling out anyone that does this in general. The great thing about the internet is you can be anyone you want. You could come on here and say, I'm a 5-star lawyer in Chicago. I bet thousands of dollars, and I'm documented everywhere.
Yeah.
That could be an elaborate scheme. I mean, really. I mean, we don't know. You say you bet, which I'm sure you do. Donnie doesn't think you do. But there's no real way of you proving that. Just like last night when we were doing the NBA college thing. Like Zach said, there's no real way to prove that you just don't have really fast fingers and you're typing that in. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
You know, I will say you do when someone hits you low or doesn't agree with you, you do generally go to, wow, you're this or that or whatever. But yeah, so are we going to let this go? You do not want to do the bet. Is that correct?
No, he's not. He doesn't. But don't ask him again because he doesn't bet. So don't worry.
So no go. We're out on that. All right. Actually, there's plenty you can prove about me. This is who I am. I'm an overweight capper that lives by himself, and this is my life. I'm Albanian. This is exactly who I am. I haven't taken my meds today. I have bodies in my freezer. I push mad weight, Friday nights. This is who I am. There's a reason I don't have a job, So yeah, I mean, if you want that heroin, you know where to find me. Big Man again, how many bodies do you have in your fridge? Says Jeff. 2. I actually have a head and a torso as well. I got to get that out of here today. Before the wrong people come here. All right, everyone have a great night. I'm a porn star who said sex with 919 women. Great, good for you. Thank you. Any proof? We'll see you later. Donnie closing line, 6 o'clock. Catch him there.